So, this period of the NBA offseason we're currently in is known by some as the dead period, because not much is really going on. Free agency hype has died down because almost all of the biggest names available have been signed, the draft excitement was months ago, and most of the big trades have already happened. But just because all of that is true doesn't mean that nothing is going to happen before the season starts. As we've done several times on this channel already, today we'll be taking a look at an article posted by national media outlet Bleacher Report, where they have concocted 4 potential blockbuster trades that can still very much happen before this season begins. I'll be going over each of them, discussing how realistic each one is, which of the trades would benefit the teams most, and why or why not they would make sense for each team too. Plus, if you want to go read the actual article itself, it will be linked down in the description of this video. Before we start though, it turns out about 60% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposed trade is between the Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks, and in it the Mavericks receive Christian Wood in exchange for Dwight Powell and a protected future first-round pick. Right off the bat, this trade seems like legitimate highway robbery by the Mavericks. Like, of course they would want someone like Christian Wood, who has been trending quickly upward over the last few years in their front court to give Luka Doncic more talent in the starting lineup. But I don't think there's a chance in hell that the Rockets would take longer than 2 seconds to hang up the phone if it were actually proposed to them. Wood struggled to stay healthy last season, but when he played, he showed he was borderline all-star talent, and a backup center plus a first-round pick with a protection on it just isn't anywhere close to equal value in exchange for him. Everyone seems to think the Rockets will shop Christian Wood because he's a bit older than the rest of their young core and the team is rebuilding, but he's only 26 years old and could help speed up their return to contention soon. Even if they do eventually want to cash in on Wood for more long-term assets, Powell and one protected first-round pick is definitely not anywhere close to the best offer that they would receive for him on the open market. Wood is a big man with a unique ability to create for himself off the dribble, shoot from the perimeter, finish strong around the basket, and provide solid defensive impact, and with how rapid his growth has been every year, he still could be getting better and better. His fit on the Mavericks does make a ton of sense, but if they want him, they'll have to offer a lot more than what Bleacher Report just proposed in this offer. The next proposed offer in the article is between the Indiana Pacers and Washington Wizards, and in it the Pacers trade Miles Turner for Davis Bertans and a future first-round pick unprotected. So, we've done plenty of these videos reacting to Bleacher Report proposed trades in the past, and I don't think there's ever been as lopsided of a start to these proposals than there is in this one we're looking at today. We're now 2 for 2 on some of the most unbalanced trade offers I've seen from their site, and again, this just won't happen. I don't know what's going on today, but the writers must be just in the mood to completely rob certain teams. I've discussed plenty of times how I think the Pacers should look to trade either Turner or Domantas Sabonis because they both need to play the center position to be at their best individually, but if or when this does happen and they do this, they'll be able to certainly get more value for either one of them because they're both very good players. Davis Bertans has established himself as a very good three-point specialist, but he now has one of the worst contracts in the league, and he's coming off of a season that really exposed how bad his weakness is as a defender and overall offensive player outside of three-point shooting that he is. One singular first-round pick is not enough to justify moving Miles Turner for this package, because Turner is one of the best and most impactful rim-protecting defensive big men in the league right now, and he could anchor any top-level team. Again, I see why the Wizards, who struggle mightily on defense, would want a player like Turner, but these offers just aren't enough to actually get the deal done. The next trade proposed is between the Sacramento Kings and San Antonio Spurs, and in it the Kings give up Buddy Hield in exchange for Lonnie Walker and Thaddeus Young. Well, at least we're finally getting to a proposal that's interesting enough to consider for both teams involved. The reason that the Spurs would have interest in acquiring Buddy Hield is because last season they attempted the second fewest three-pointers in the NBA, and with how the game is played in the modern era, that's just not exactly a sustainable recipe for success. They did acquire Doug McDermott this offseason, which should help in that regard, but Buddy Hield is someone who would actually make a significant difference in that regard, as he's always someone who shoots a ton of threes at a reliable clip on high volume. His overall numbers and efficiency have wavered a bit over these last 2 seasons, and his relationship with the Kings organization has also definitely been a bit rocky in that span as well, so his value isn't as high as it once was, and that's certainly ideal for the Spurs if they wanted to get this deal done. Thad Young is a long-time veteran who gives you a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor from the forward spot, and he's a very good locker room leader as well. Then Lonnie Walker has shown plenty of upside as an athletic wing-scoring guard and could develop for more. So for a Kings team that needs defensive improvement and a Spurs team that needs three-point shooting help, this would help both teams on paper at least. As long as the Spurs are being coached by Greg Popovich, they likely won't ever tank, and getting Buddy Hield would definitely make them a better team. And finally, the last trade proposed in the article is between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Philadelphia 76ers, and in it the Sixers trade Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum, a future pick swap, and a future first-round pick. With every passing week, the Ben Simmons situation seems to get worse and worse, and if the team is eventually forced to trade him for below the value they see him at, this is honestly one of the best packages they'll be able to get. McCollum has been a terrific number 2 scoring option over the years who can score from all 3 levels, create for himself, and perform in the playoffs in big moments. The Sixers would take a hit defensively in this trade, but they need offensive firepower, and at this point, the focus is on salvaging the best years of Joel Embiid's career to compete at the highest level. As for the Trailblazers, this is an absolute home run deal for them, because this is exactly the kind of acquisition that Damian Lillard has been asking the team to make, and Simmons' skill set would fit tremendously alongside him in the backcourt. The Blazers' biggest issue has been their perimeter defense because neither Lillard or McCollum is very good on that end, and Simmons is the best perimeter defender in the league right now, coming off of a runner-up finish in the Defensive Player of the Year race. Plus, Lillard wouldn't have to create nearly as much as he does now because Simmons is one of the best playmakers for the teammates around him in the league, and he would open up a ton more open looks for Dame and the rest of the squad, as opposed to Dame having to create everything for himself. Then down the stretch of games where Simmons notoriously struggles, it would be far less glaring, because Damian Lillard is one of the best closers in the NBA. If the Sixers are eventually forced to sell Simmons for less than what they want for him, this wouldn't be a terrible deal, and for the Blazers, it would make them so much better across the board. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the trades proposed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.